Welcome back, lovely. This is your next training with Perfectly Powerful Peace. I'm Debbie Blue, and this is Engage Your Empowerment. Our training today is on creating a new story for your future life. We have stories that run us. In case you weren't aware, I'll just say that. We have stories that run us. They very much have to do with our ants and our habitual patterns of thinking. And these stories, unfortunately, can steal our energy and our joy and our authentic way of being. Now, if you ask the average person, what's your story, Morning Glory? They're going to say, oh, well, I was born here and I grew up there and these things happened in my childhood and I went for schooling there and this is the work that I do and these are the people in my life and these are my things that I'm interested in, and what's your story? So that's not exactly what we're talking about. Stories are very much tied into the ants, and they're tied into automatic negative thoughts, and into definitely childhood, things which we have given meaning. So, tell you a little story. So I have a story from when I was about 4 years old, and it helps to root these out because then they don't have power over you because your stories can run you. And you think you're on this narrative, and actually this narrative is like, why I'm not reaching my goals, or whether it's in relationships or in career or whatever, because something else is at play. So I have this story from when I was 4 years old. Dad was an alcoholic, angry guy. At the time, him and my mom already had 4 children, and when I was 4, and so that would make them like late 20s, I guess. And he was in the Air Force, and he's a big guy, big, lots of muscles. And I was this little 4-year-old. It was my mother's birthday, and we're all kind of gathered around this chair where my dad's sitting in, and he had bought her a pie with little sprinkles on it. I can remember thinking, that's so cheap because she would have made something special for you. But nevertheless, that's where we were all standing around. And him and his self-importance was yelling down the hall for her to come because he was ready. And he was yelling, Mom, Mom. So all of us kids were yelling, Mom. The next youngest to me was 3. So, and then it was 5 and 6. So poor Mom. Every picture of Mom in the early days is her with a gaggle of kids, the caption, pregnant with. I have to have compassion for her. But anyways, it wasn't necessarily reciprocated. He's yelling, Mom, get out here. So we're like, Mom, Mom. Because we're excited. It's her birthday. We want to celebrate her. But at a certain point, his aggravation gets so high. And then we're on edge and really want her to come out because we already know. I know at 4 what's going to happen. I know it's not going to be pretty. So he yells her name, which is Anna Sue, but he called her Sue or Susan. So he yells, Sue, get out here. And so I yell, Sue, get out here. And I'm holding on to the chair. He's there. Suddenly his giant hand comes and slaps me. If I hadn't been holding on, I would have flown, boy. And my face was hot from embarrassment, from the sting of that. I'm crying. And it's really quiet. And he's like, don't you ever use your mother's name again. And then she comes out. And she can feel what's going on. She can see. She says nothing. She does nothing. And he's all about the pie. Piece of pie. So, what did I make that mean about me, my family, and the world? I made that mean that my mother didn't care about me because she didn't bother saying anything. And then, of course, that was reinforced all through life because she never bothered saying anything, no matter how many times I was hit, or any of the rest of the kids. I made it mean about my dad that he was unsafe. I couldn't trust him. And my mom, that I was abandoned, was rejected. And about me, that, I can't speak up. There I was trying to be a rescuer, huh? If I just, get her out here, it'll be okay. But that's enough, right? Just from one instant that I've carried that through my life up until a few years ago, of feeling like I'm not safe, can't trust men, family isn't going to support you, nobody's going to see my pain or care for me, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, we have stories, and story could be something that's hard to get to from childhood. You could say, have a difficult time with somebody now and be telling somebody a story about it. If they were be doing some mirror work with you, or help you look at that shadow a bit and ask you, when else has that happened? Or when was the first time you remember feeling like that? Feeling unsafe, or feeling unprotected, or feeling rejected, or whatever that story is. They're so, and this means, and about them, me, us, the world. If you can get to your earliest possible memory, you can start to see that that story has been very powerful in your life. If you can look and see, well, when else did this happen? Now, it's not inevitable, and it isn't, I'm not spreading mud across the ground. It's just a pattern that happens. It's just one of those things that happens. As things happen, sure, we try to make sense of it, try to get it into ourselves, try to protect ourselves, be safe, feel loved, get the things that we need, things that our ego needs to survive and to thrive. By the time you're a grown adult, you have a lot of stories. And what will happen is, when we're speaking energetically, we'll have the tendency to play those stories out so that egoically we can be right. That's right, right? Like, that's the way it is. So this is why I do this, and this is why this needs to be done. And you can really talk to anybody. You can hear their stories. It's right there. It's kind of self-evident. So once you're an adult, it's very hard to shift out of your story if, one, you're not aware of it, two, you have no way of going back and retrieving the root memory and what you made that mean, or three, you have nothing to replace it with, right? So this is going to be part of your playtime, creative time, is to write it out. Any upset that's happened recently, any just miscommunication, any painful memory that keeps playing itself out. Write everything out you can about it, and then think about, when did it happen before? Oh, last week, or with this other person in this other relationship. And then see, thirdly, if you can take it as far back as possible. How did that make me feel? When did I first feel that? See what the first earliest incident that you can find in your memory, and write about that. And what did you make it mean? So you make it mean something, and then you make agreements with yourself. Okay, I'm never going to speak up because it's not safe. What agreements? You made it mean that you're not safe. You made an agreement. I better not ever speak. I'm not going to speak up unless I know it's totally safe. I can't be bold with that, right? So, or authentic in my speaking. So that's the first part of it, is looking at any kind of upset, missed communication, withhold, whatever. Write about it, what you're feeling. Look and see when other times that kind of event has happened. Same person, different person, doesn't matter. And then start taking it back as far as you can to the first time you felt that way. Angry, confused, upset, disappointed, unsafe, excited, some first memory that you can remember, And usually they say that those incidences, which are core to our story, are really early childhood, 3 to 7 or 8 years old. Maybe some people have earlier memories, some people don't start their memories until they're like 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, some people. For me, it was 4. I have a lot of memories that I recall. And I'd hate to recall all my memories, that would be too much. But these serve you so that you can see what it is that's running you. And now we can write a new story, because we can take the same thing with the ants and ask, well, this means, is that true? Well, my agreement is that BS? Does it have to be that? Can that change? What do I want? How do I want to feel? So it's an exploration, and it's a practice. Oh, that's happening again. I wonder if that's related to, what did I just make that mean? How do I feel now? How do I want to feel? And you can go through some of the same things, making it more somatic, taking deep breaths into it. Go ahead and feel your feelings about it, journal about it, get out and move, find a person or two whom you trust that you can be vulnerable with and share, but also honor their boundaries, that you're not going to dump it all on them or expect them to therapize you. So ask, can I share this with you? I'm trying to work through this, and can you reflect back to me maybe what you're hearing? So you have to be a little, not just vulnerable, but have some humility in that. You have to be able to start seeing it differently. Be willing not to be right about it. Be willing not to be kind of victimized by your own stories. They happen. A lot of things were not right, not okay. Maybe some of them aren't forgivable. However, a lot of it is simply how the mind works, how the ego works, and we make things mean things. And we make agreements that we don't have to keep. We can remake our agreements. Now, if you're doing, and I do some of this work, shamanic healing, where you go in and you find not only the feeling, but the energy and the cords, and you cut and you remove and you send off, and you then look at what were the agreements, and then you're replacing the energy that you want at the feeling state, the frequency, the vibration that you want, and you're putting in new agreements, using your breath and using your imagination, being guided in and guided back out. It's very safe. That's a beautiful step. If you don't have that, you're welcome to call me and we'll have a conversation and look at how maybe I can serve you around that. Other than that, you can start to do what Julia Cameron calls, it's in her writing with the left hand, the power of writing, where it says creative writing, where you don't stop. And it's a practice every day for half an hour. When you get up, rather than getting on the phone and putting information in, you're kind of doing a dump. You're just writing. You can call it creative writing, but they're called morning pages. And it's the artist way. And you just write. You put your pen down or pencil down and you don't pick it up. It's very good to do it in writing because there's a certain neural pathway that gets woken up where typing isn't quite the same. You just start writing. You can pick anything to start with, and it doesn't need to make sense. No one else needs to ever see it. But later you could pull out, if you're a writer, you could pull out information or stories or ideas. You could use it as a therapy tool to see, oh, that's what I was feeling, etc. What we would like you to use it for is to look at those early stories, see what's coming up around it. What did you make it mean? What were the agreements that you made? If you're more aware of that before you go into the next part, whether it's doing a shamanic journey or you're doing just journaling, it really, really helps, because then you know what you're dealing with. You know what it is that you need to release, what it is that needs to be healed, and then where it is you need to put something different in. Because as an adult, you can go back to your inner child and take care of her and heal her and bring her into the present. And it's very empowering, because there's just this, foot behind you dragging, and we're all human, and we've all been children, and we all have stories. Now, once you've written about the stories and the meaning and the agreements, put it down, walk away, take a break, kind of let that kind of flow, kind of integrate, like, wow, I wasn't really either aware or cognizant or remembering or focused there. It's all for a good purpose. When you're away from it, make sure you're doing some kind of movement, you're getting rest. It may take a while. You may do several mornings or several weeks. When we're writing our new story for our future self, you can start with things like lists. In those different areas of spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, psychic, etc., what you want to create for your future self. Write it out. It should be kind of what they call like SMART goals, where it's achievable. It doesn't have to be achievable right now. Maybe a step towards it can be achievable right now. It may be that you would love to be a billionaire, but the steps to that are going to be way different than I want to get out of debt, or I just want to feel that I am abundant and can create abundance on every level in my life, and that I am in right relationship with Mahalakshmi, and you're going to be doing achievable, because achievable SMART goals is still within a time frame. That time frame is a container for you to see your success, to see your journey, right? And the next writing that you're going to do, I don't like to write. Well, if you absolutely hate writing, if it's going to keep you from creating your story, you can do a couple things. You can just do 3x5 cards. You can do bullet points. You can, if it helps you to first, let's do a Zoom or a voice recording of some ideas, and then it could be easier for you to write it down. Once you start writing what you do want, what is okay with you, where are your boundaries? So we're moving away from the stories. We're moving at this point away from what you made things mean, away from the automatic negative thoughts, away from the old stories. We're moving more now into an empowered way of being that we choose, we create, put a stake in the ground, we're a stand for that, we commit to ourselves, we have integrity around it, and we start creating that with a new story. And because the mind is involved, your mind as well enjoy it, make up stories. Now, when I was growing up, I read a lot of science fiction. My next older brother, who just passed this year, dear heart, suggested I try in the 4th grade science fiction. And the science fiction that I read back then wasn't quite as sophisticated, I would say, as it is now. However, it taught me to extrapolate, the power of the mind to extrapolate. Well, if I do this, what will happen? If I keep doing that, what will be the outcome? Positive affirmations are about creating the new story in small bits. The thing about positive affirmations, though, is And the same thing with the mantra is the power comes in the feeling because it makes it real. So if I'm going, I'm so happy, my mind's not going to believe that. But if I'm like, I'm so sad, my mind's not going to believe that either. So you want to have a match, right? You want an emotional match to a mental state and start laying down these new pathways on this journey toward your future life, your future self in the now. Make sense? Okay, so start writing down what you want, what you're willing to do more than put up with, who you'd like to be with, how do you want to feel, who do you want to be. Okay, there's that. Then we'll be moving into beingness. Ask yourself, who do I need to be for each of those things to be accomplished? Because a wish, a hope, and a prayer isn't going to get you there. It's going to be action. And who you're being creates the energy state that draws the situation and the people to you. Who do I need to be to achieve this? If you're like, I don't know, think of what works for me is I think of someone who has achieved that, and I can get a different idea of, oh, they're being this way and that way. Or I could consider opposites. Well, in order to be that, I can't be this. I really have to be that. Oh, okay, that's what I have to be. You can also, I like to just go inside and ask Divine Spirit, Divine Feminine Spirit, my inner self, I ask, who do I need to be? Now you can do that in a shamanic journey. Go in, find your guide, ask, get a message, bring it out, and start laying it out. Then we're getting who and how I want to be in order to have the things I want to have. Kind of have to have a practice. Knowledge is different than action. Action will show you if you've achieved the state that you know you want. And have compassion and patience with yourself. It is a journey. You're going to hit plateaus and, well, I'm not getting as much excitement or breakthroughs as I were. You're going to hit plateaus, you're going to hit boredoms, you're going to fall backwards, you're going to trip upward, but it's never a failure because it's just feedback. My body is saying this, my emotions are saying that, my spirit is saying this. It's just feedback. Make an agreement with yourself, that at the top of your writing, a new agreement. Where I stand in my integrity for myself, for what I want in the future is. And for me, it helps very much to have a schedule, to lay it out. I'm going to do 30 minutes morning pages when I wake up, which means that I might have to wake up a little early, which means I might have to go to bed a little early, which means I might have to not eat sugar so late, which means I'm watching my diet. So it isn't a single, is it the blue pill or the red pill? It is a practice. And it will serve you, and you will see results as you go on. Hopefully it will reveal wonderful things for you that you weren't aware of. And again, if you run into something that was like traumatic, reach out to people that can help. So, a therapist or a really good, trustworthy friend, or just write it down. So the thing about trauma, it is in the tissues and it can be released. But for the most part, most of our trauma is in the past. Most of our trauma is in the past. So it's not happening now, and you're okay now. If there's trauma now, ask for help. You are tired and exhausted, but you need to advocate for yourself and trust yourself. It's not right. It's not right. You can't change anyone else. And most likely, you're not going to be rescued. You have to participate in your own rescue. But if you don't do it, it's going to stay the same. So, you know this. You already know this. You're a wise woman. We're going to be, you have this program. Go back over it several times. Refer back to all the different bits and pieces. And know that this is one of my offering. There are 5 more similar to this. And then there's a full course. And as I said, and that's in your course, pardon me. If you haven't already gotten a call with me, you can get a call with me to see what you need, how's it going, and how to carry it on into the future. Things take time. So transformation, to get it really set as a way of being, get it set in your bones, minimum 3 months. Don't be impatient. Know and keep that in front of you, your future self that you're creating in the now. Minimum 3 months, 6 months to be experiencing it, to lay down these new pathways, to create new ways of being, to develop new habits, to let go of old stuff, old ways of being. If you haven't received my gift, that is about meditation. It is Learn to Meditate Easier Today. Let me know and I'll send that your way. And if you already have that, let me know and I'll send you another gift. Maybe like some divine energy principles. Something. You're worth it. So any questions, send them my way. Any concerns, send them my way. You have my email. And come over to the Facebook group. Light Up Your Life Facebook group. And as I said, you will automatically be accepted in. I think I already have your information now. So come in and join the community. Get to know the tribe of women that's in there. We're building it now, and I want to know from you what worked, what you feel could work better, what you enjoyed, what you'd like to have added in, where you need more support, all of those good things. So make sure that you don't miss out on any of the PDFs, the writings, the videos, etc. And I want to tell you how honored I am that you came and spent time with me and that you allowed me to be in service to you. And I bless you for all your future beautiful life. And I hope we work together some more. And you are great. Thank you.